Here we are, here we are, here we are. How we doing? Sneak attack live. Usually I go live later in the day, but today is a sneak attack. We're doing a sneak attack live. No warnings, no heads up, just going for it and seeing who's here, who's paying attention, who has their notifications turned on, who's out there, who's awake, who's ready to rock and roll. Sneak attack live. Live sneak attack. I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope everybody out there is doing fantastic. I hope everyone out there is doing great for their business, so on and so forth. So today, we got some people funneling into the chat. We got first place Mario with the gold medal. Second place, Blessed Patriot with the silver medal. Third place, Thrifty Spartan with the bronze. And Shannon, first loser, with the fourth place medal. So I hope everybody's doing well. We got the sneak attack going on today. Usually I go on later in the day, but sometimes when I'm traveling around, I go on at different times so we could talk to different people. And tonight is, probably the clinching game of the World Series. So I don't want to compete with those guys tonight. Let them play, let them do their thing. I'll come on early, and that way we could talk to some new people, get some questions, things like that. We got someone chiming in from Lake Worth. Hey, shout out to Lake Worth. That's not too far away. So today, just like last week, if you guys have seen the last week's call, you guys can phone in. Phone in on the Zoom machine. I'll give you the information. 302-048-8962. Password is live. I put it on the top of the chat. 302-048-8962. Password is live. So if you guys do want to call in, you want to Zoom in, catch us on the Zoom room. And I put a quick disclaimer like I did last week. I don't know these people. They might be scammers. They might have past transgressions. It's not my problem. I'm just here to talk to the people, help the people. Any kind of help that you guys need, that's what we're here for. Anything else aside from that, I'm not involved in. I'm not here for the drama. I'm just here to help. We got Arwin from Wales. He took a trip to Wales today, 6-hour trip. Shout out to Arwin. So I hope everybody's doing well. If you do have questions, put them in the chat. I will answer all the questions in the chat. I will try to get to as many people as I possibly can on the Zoom room call-in. But we got to keep it quick. We got to keep it quick on the Zoom room call-in once it's dragging on. Nothing personal. I got to keep it pushing. So again, I don't know these people. They might have past transgressions. I'm not co-signing anybody. They might be scammers. I'm not co-signing anybody. But we need to not cuss. We need to be professional. And we need to make sure we have no music, no TV playing in the background. Let's see who is on the line. Oh, we got familiar face in early. Familiar face in early, chiming in. And if anyone else wants to chime in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE. First person on the line, my main man Isaiah in early, quick with the trigger finger. What's happening, my man?
We just out here doing our best. How you doing?
Living the dream. What's going on? You got a question today? What's up?
Yeah. I just wanted to get more understanding behind like how you added the additional like products and services to your business. Such as, you added the reseller ruler to your business, and then you also did the actually I have a different question. Let me ask this a little bit differently. Do you view those as separate businesses to your main thing? Or do you think that those are like fingers to the hand on your same thing, just like with wholesale and stuff like that? As we're like graduating and getting better and better at our main thing with reselling.
So I think it depends. I think some of them are kind of like fingers on the hand, as you said. Some of them are independent. So when I look at eBay and reselling and the brick and mortar store, things like this, that's all one business. It's clothing. So like my eBay business, my wholesale, my brick and mortar store, that's just one clothing business that has a couple different entities. They all are separate entities, for tax purposes and things like this. But that's kind of like one thing. Like when I look at my tree service, lawn service, we do sprinklers, we do the pools, we do pressure cleaning. It's kind of like one thing, but we do a bunch of different things inside of there too. So, they're separate, but also the same. And, they they come when they come. You have to be patient and you have to take advantage at the right time. But for me, it's kind of one thing.
What made you like how did these extra fingers get added to the business? Did you just wake up one day on a whim and go, hey, I want to do sprinklers today or something like that, or I want to make a brick and mortar store? Or do you make all of these additional fingers to the business as a necessity? Is it like the business needs this, so we're adding this onto it to increase profitability, something of the sort?
It's a little bit of both. So it is some of them I have like a plan or a roadmap and go, you know what, we can expand to this. And maybe I know from the beginning, maybe I know from early on, maybe I know from, towards the middle, whatever. I can see kind of like a roadmap where, we can expand to this. Some of them are necessity or have been presented an opportunity. And I say, hey, this is a great opportunity. So when we started cutting grass, so what we did, we had a couple hundred houses, and I got tired of telling people that we don't do trees. And I would toss the tree jobs to a guy named Matt. Industry standard is you give someone 10% if they toss you a job. I got tired of chasing him around, try to get my 10%. I got tired of giving him easy jobs that he was making a boatload of money on. And I said, you know what? We could do this. We could practice. We can get certified, and then we can take advantage of being presented with these jobs. We can get our skills up to par, and we can take these jobs. Same thing with sprinklers. I got tired of telling people we don't do those. So like some of them are born out of being presented with the opportunity. Some of them you kind of like see the roadmap. So like for clothing and eBay, for example, I always saw the roadmap with eBay to get to the point where I'm doing what I'm doing now. Did I see or imagine a brick and mortar store? No, but then it was built out of necessity there. So you kind of get these opportunities and take advantage of them. You kind of have like this idea or a framework. And inside the idea and framework, maybe you can build, grow towards that, work towards that, set things up towards that. But sometimes you have like these side quests where, an opportunity does arise and you say, you know what, that's a good opportunity for me to take today.
All right, so that was two eBay adjacent questions. Now I'm gonna ask you an eBay question, and this one, this is the last one.
Please.
Recently we just had a significant holiday shipping increase. Oh, it's like 20% or something like that. For most of my items.
Mm-hmm.
My question for you is: do you think you should? And I'll give you some numbers to make it a little bit easier. I think my shipping went from 648 on average for my shipping label cost to like 688 or so, but it hasn't been enough days to see what the actual numbers are going to play out as. So it might end up averaging around $7 or something like that. But it has been a
Okay.
bit of an increase from the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Would you raise your shipping up in response to a holiday increase, or do you typically keep your shipping prices the same despite the increase on the holidays?
For
Or
me,
and then that same question would apply to future increases as USPS raises their rates more and more.
okay, so it doesn't matter what the shipping rate increase is, it matters what the market will allow. If the
Yes.
market will allow you to price X, then you price X. If you're in a category where even though shipping costs $5, but the market tells you that that category needs free shipping, it doesn't matter what the shipping costs, the market is the market. So in your category, if it will allow for you to bump up your shipping, then you may as well do so. If you want to subsidize the shipping and come out of pocket, maybe $1, $1.50, $2, maybe free, and you want to subsidize a portion of it or all of the shipping, that's fine too. So the shipping is going to be dictated by what the market will allow. Will your market allow you, based on what everybody else is doing, what the sales data is telling you, to raise your price $1 or $2? If so, and you want to, go for it. If not, then you're stuck and you're going to have to find different ways to increase your margin and increase your profit. So there's only a couple of things that are guarantees, facts in life. One is death, one is taxes. The third one is USPS going to raise the shipping 3 times a year. It's going to happen on or around January 20th. It's going to happen in the summertime, and it's going to be temporarily increased for the holidays. We are in the temporary increase for the holidays, and on January 20th, they're going to hit us again with another increase. Like these increases are going to go up and up and up and up. And that's just the way it's going to go. And if your market does not allow for you to continue to go up and up and up and up, that money's got to come from somewhere. So we got to ask ourselves, where's the money going to come from?
Have you found advantages to eating the shipping compared to like your competitors, I guess, raising up their shipping? Like, how does that normally work for you? as these rates have went higher and higher and higher?
I think I've always been on the pretty competitive to what the market will allow side. And I try to sit myself in a position where I'm cheaper than the counter price and competitive on eBay. So to the customer, forward facing to them, they're getting a deal. Okay, they're cheaper than the post office. Because last time I went to the post office, it cost me $8. This guy's charging me $6. So in their head, it's better. Usually, since we do get that postage discount from eBay, even though you are charging $6, the label really costs $4.85. And after your fees, maybe you pick up 75 cents, maybe you pick up 50 cents, maybe you pick up $1. And that dollar, that 75 cents, that 50 cents, that can cover your poly bags, that can cover your labels, that can cover your return labels that you have to prompt because you do free shipping or free returns. That can prompt any sort of fraudulent returns. Like we can have a little bit of padding in there. It's not egregious to make money off of it. It's not a source to be profitable, but it is there for you to buy your boxes, buy your poly bags, buy all of your supplies, pay for those return shippings, pay for those misuse of returns. All of that stuff is accounted for just by 25 cents, 50 cents at a time. And remember, everybody out there, eBay does charge a final value fee on your postage. So even if you charge $6 and the label costs $6, technically speaking, you're losing money purchasing that label because eBay is charging you a final value fee. So, all right, give me one more, man.
I was just gonna say, like, even on top of that, shipping doesn't. Your shipping is those two things combined. It's not just the cost of the shipping, like, but it's the cost of your supplies and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
So, like,
everything.
yeah, it's everything. So I think
So
that's fair.
I always try to be competitive with the market, what everybody else is doing. Um, Definitely cheaper than the counter price. I
Yes.
think that's our value add there. And
Last
and
one.
and, and again, if you're fast, if you have a great return policy, if you have a same day shipping or 1 day shipping, maybe you can charge 50 cents more. Maybe you can charge $1 more. So I've always had same day. And my same day cutoff time is 6 o'clock in the morning. So anything purchased at 5:59 a.m. it's getting shipped out today anyways. So really, technically, it's still a 1 day handling time, but it's same day, technically speaking, and same day in the eyes of eBay, where I get those same day benefits, where the customer sees those same day benefits, free returns, accurate price, accurate title, good listing, all of that kind of stuff. Maybe the customer might pay you $1 or two more.
And last one, as you got closer to that $6, right? I know that hasn't happened for you yet, but as you get closer to that $6, at that point, if the market allows, you might raise by 50 cents, raise by $1 or something, depending on where the market is.
Whatever the market allows. The market is the market. The market is undefeated. If the market allows you for $600 shipping,
Yes.
then you have the market's blessing to do so. But if they do not and starts impacting your sales, and you look around the market and those other people are not selling items due to their shipping costs, then you need to back it up, and you can't charge that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, brother.
Very good. Thank you. Good to always see my man Isaiah in here. Always ask great questions. Thank you. Let me get some questions in the chat. Again, if you do want to be part of the Zoom, 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE. Anybody can Zoom in. I don't care who you are. I'm just saying, I don't know some of these people. They could be scammers. They could have past transgressions. Not my problem. I'm just in here trying to help answer questions. A couple questions in the chat from Jaeger. Question, can you tell me more about the early Nike tees that were printed on different blanks? I found one, but I don't know how to price it. So those ones can be a little bit confusing, a little bit challenging to price because they were so very few made. But if you can send me a picture on Instagram, I'd love to see it. So the very early Nike shirts, they didn't have their own Nike blanks. Maybe they were printed on a Hanes tag. Maybe they were printed on a Champion tag. If it's an early like marathon shirt, those were printed on Champion tags, Hanes tags. I mean, you could be sitting on an item that is worth, potentially thousands of dollars, but it really depends. So I would have to see a photograph of it, but that is a great point. So some of the shirts, very early styles of some of the shirts, Harley Davidson is one. Like Harley Davidsons not on Harley Davidson tags are worth the most money. Now, there's a caveat to that. If it is a present day shirt on a present day tag that is not a Harley Davidson tag and not licensed, that is going to be fake. You can't buy that. You can't sell that. If it is a vintage Harley shirt on a Hanes tag, a vintage Harley shirt on a Champion tag, a vintage Harley shirt on a 3D emblem tag, Those aren't on Harley tags, and that's fine. They're fine to sell. That was before Harley got their own private label Harley shirts. Now they're, licensed out to Bravado and places like this. So just because a shirt isn't on the proper tag, it can be worth so much more money because that was before the shirt was printed on the proper blank. And a lot of companies do this, like Starter did it in the beginning. I know Ocean Pacific does it in the beginning. Thrasher did it in the beginning. They have Hanes shirts. So a lot of companies did this when they were on the come up and they couldn't afford their own shirts and they were just testing things out. And it doesn't mean it's fake. It's just a very early iteration, like Jaeger is saying in the chat, where Nike tees weren't printed on a Nike tee and they were printed on a different blank. So Nicole T, what shipping service are the Canadians switching to with the upcoming Canada Post strike? So please, in the chat, let us know. Canada Post strike, what shipping service are you utilizing? And last week on Thursday, we actually had the Canadians get together in the Zoom room and they all had a little Canadian call. So that was exciting to see. So I'm happy to see that. All right, if you want to take part, you want to phone in live, 302-048-8962. I see KT Treasures in the chat. Always appreciate them. Thank you for stopping by. I love checking out their videos. All right, let's see who's next on the line. I hope we got a good question. All right, who's up? Que paso? Que paso, amigo? Eduardo, you're up. What do we got? Come on, Eduardo. What do we got?
Hey Tech, I'm trying to plan for next year, and I think it would be helpful just to get some pointers. This year, I try to set some goals for my business, and I just went like, well, last year I did this, so I'm sure this year I can do that. And I
Okay.
just went with that, and it's proven it has been hard for me to hit that number. Maybe the economy has to do a little bit with that, but like I just want some pointers from you to see like what's a realistic thing like other than oh I want to improve my shipping station or I want to improve this or I want to improve that. That's like operation stuff, but like if I want to set goals for next year, what are some things you would recommend for me to think about that wouldn't put me on a too big of a goal that I may not be able to reach and then feel bad about it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a good thing to think about, or what things could I put together to kind of make this happen?
All right, very good. So some people are fueled by unreachable goals. I'm one of those people. Some people get deterred by unreachable goals. So if you are of the personality type where you get, set back if you don't hit the goal, then you want to reach, or you want to set a goal that you can reach. I want to set a goal that is so large that I don't hit it. So that's me personally. So I've always set up goals. I've always set up plans based on action. I've always set up actionable plans. And how I do this is I figure out how many items would I like to sell? How much money would I like to make? And in order to set these goals, we need to have all of our figures, facts, and numbers ready to go. So if you have the goal of, I want to make $50,000 profit next year, just throwing out a number as an example, we need to figure out how much profit do I make per item? Okay, we figured out how much profit do I make per item. We need to figure out how many of those items I need to list. So we need to know our sell through as well. So in order for me to make $50,000 profit, I need to list X amount of items. I need to sell X amount of these items. I need a store size of X amount that's going to kick off this many particular sales per day, per year, in order for me to reach that goal. So like I always do it based on action, and I always do it based on the high side. So even if I fall short, that I'm still going to smash the goal. So whatever kind of monetary goal that I was looking for, I would start with the big number and work backwards and make it productivity based. Where if I did everything that I was supposed to do, I'm going to trust in the eBay machine or trust in the Poshmark machine or trust in whoever I need to trust that they're going to take care of me and they're going to help me out get these sales. So whatever you want to do, take the big number, divide it by what your profit per item is, figure out how many items you need to sell, figure out how many items you need to list in order to sell that many items. And all of everything that we talk about comes into play: sell through, store size inside of the group, we have a great call for the store size math. And as you know, as your store grows, if everything remains the same in your product quality, then the sales should also scale proportionally. So if you have 100 items in your store and you're selling 2 items a day, if you list 100 more additional items that are exactly the same, if they're better, this is going to skew the results. If they're not as good, this is going to skew the results. Where if I have a 100 item store that sells 2 a day on average, if I have a 200 item store, it's going to sell 4 a day on average. Now, if I have a 100 item store that sells 2 a day and I list a fantastic next 100 items, maybe I start selling 6 per day with a 200 item store. If I have a 100 item store that sells 2 a day and I list garbage for my next 100 listings, I'm going to have a 200 item store that sells 2 a day. So the store math that we talk about comes into play. Start with the big number, develop a plan to work backwards. That's how I've always done it.
Okay, cool, man. Thank you.
Excellent. Everything going good in Panama?
Everything's okay down here. Rocking and
Good.
rolling.
Love to hear it. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Good question from Eduardo. If you guys have some questions, put it in the chat. Love to answer every single question that you guys got. The chat jumps from time to time, so be a little bit patient. If you guys want to zoom in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE. Let's see who we got coming up next on the live chat. And inside of the typed in chat, make sure that you write your questions, put a couple question marks before, because we're moving, popping, and shaking over here. All right, next up, Jojo, what's happening? Jojo, are you out there, my friend? Hello, hello. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. All right, we'll come back to Mr. Jojo. Can't hear you, my man. All right, next up, let's get Lauren on the line. Let's see what we got. Make sure you put in some questions in the chat. Questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer every single question that you guys have. Every single question that you guys have. Lauren, what's happening? You're up. Hey, what's going on? How are you? Everybody good?
Man. I think I need to mute you. I'm sorry.
You do. But how's everything good? Everything good?
I'm good. How are you?
Living the dream. What's happening?
So I saw this live pop up. I really enjoyed listening to your last one. And so something I was listening to this morning, it was a video by, I think the guy is Dan Coe. And he had a video talking about entrepreneurship, but obviously this applies to our reselling business. And he was talking about, instead of identifying the niche, he was saying, you are the niche. And I would love to hear your thoughts about how this applies to our reselling businesses. So I know we talk a lot about this idea of identifying who your customer is, what your niche is. But I'm interested in this thought of like, what if you are the niche with regard to what your knowledge base is, what your background is for your product, how you identified, your top performing brands that you really doubled down on, things like that for building your business.
All right. So you listen to it. Tell me your thoughts first, and then I'll tell you mine.
So his video, he was talking about how if we're just basing it on like identifying the things that are top performing in the market. So he was talking about, I think, like marketing for dentists and these different things that you might not have any interest in. And so as he was laying it out, the thought was like, if you're the niche, then as you grow and improve and learn and evolve, then your business kind of grows and evolves with it. And he was talking about building an audience rather than this idea of like marketing to certain customers. And so I'm interested in thinking about that of like, yes, we use the data to determine what the market is for certain items and to dictate like what is selling and how well it's selling. But I guess I like the idea of like you being the niche in terms of like building an aspect of your business that can withstand, the ups and downs, like focusing on things that will sell like time and time again, regardless of the trend cycles. Like take a combat boot if you're talking about shoes, I'm trying to think about other niches, like things that would sell it regardless of the brand. So,
all right, very good. So I think I think a lot of this does transfer over to eBay. I think some of it doesn't. Because I think some people, when they come to eBay, they're eBay shoppers. Maybe they're not Lauren shoppers. However, we can use the tools that eBay does have to offer, newsletters, buyer groups. We can include communication inside of our packaging that says, and this is what my communication says. Hey, basically a paraphrase. Hey, I'm just a regular guy. I sell on eBay. I've been doing this for 15 years. The same exact item that you just received, I list a ton of those every single day. So I communicate this with everyone who opens up the lines of communication. If you send me a message saying, hey, thanks for the item, I say, hey, no, thank you for your purchase. The item that you just purchased, I list 50 of these every single day. Here's a private coupon just for you. I would love for you to purchase another item when the time does come. So every single time I get the opportunity to communicate with a buyer via messages, via a thank you note inside of the packaging, newsletters, buyer groups, offers to watchers, let you put in a blurb, even feedback that I leave for other people, I always thank them for their business, let them know that I listed an exact item just like this, because I like to list the same type of items, because I'm trying to curate and cultivate those repeat buyers. Because it doesn't matter what your business is, eBay, Danco's business, the dentist business, it doesn't matter what your business is. What is the number one thing that every single business is focused on, and what is the most expensive portion of every single business? What is the number one focus of every single business?
I'm thinking you're getting at the repeat customer, like
the cost of customer acquisition.
Okay.
So if we all had one magical customer that purchased every single item that we ever came across, we don't even have to go on eBay anymore. So that would save us the fees. The fees are expensive. That would save us the listing time. The listing time is expensive. That would save us the research, packaging. We could just put it all in one box. So the cost of customer acquisition is very high. So if we can get eBay to acquire us the customer, and every single person listening to this, we have a responsibility to do a good job with our customer to make sure that they come back to eBay as a whole. We all have this responsibility. We all need to do a good job so the eBay customer comes back to eBay. So the Poshmark customer comes back to Poshmark. And if they could come back to us specifically, then that's even better. That's great. So when I was at the peak of my store, when I had 50,000 items, I had multiple people every single day. They knew what time I finished my listings. And as soon as I finished my listings, they would start firing off offers. I would automatically sell 10, 15, 20 items a day immediately after I was done listing, because these people knew I was dependable. I was going to be there every single day. I was going to list the same type of items that they already previously purchased in the past. How many of those people bought through promoted listings? Zero, because they came to my store. I didn't have to acquire that new customer. I didn't have to pay eBay to acquire that new customer for me by paying for visibility of a promoted listing. So it does translate, but I think as a whole, we have a responsibility, because the eBay shopper is not a tech shopper. It's not a Lauren shopper. They shop on eBay. They happen to find us. So if you do want to upsell, you do want to sell more than one item, you do want to get more repeat purchases. And at one time, I checked my repeat purchases. 64% of my sales were repeat buyers. Now, does that mean I was doing such a great job with people that they were coming back? Or does that mean I was selling so many items that I was touching just about every single shopper that was on eBay? Either way, at one point when I checked, I had 64% repeat buyers. So if you want repeat buyers and you don't want to acquire a new customer every single time, it helps to list like items. If you list VCR, chandelier, sombrero, shoes, toaster, it's very hard to get a repeat buyer, because not a lot of people are coming in and buying a chandelier and buying a pair of shoes. Now, if you have, combat boots and you can sell them good, and you keep listing them and you keep communicating and you keep telling people, hey, I'm the one-stop shop for this. Hey, I list 100 items like this a week. Hey, I list 25 items like this a week. Save me as a seller. Give them something actionable. Because if I tell a buyer, hey, save me as a seller, what does that mean? They don't know. It means go to ebay.com/str/my store name here, click the heart, and once you can get them into the funnel of ebay.com/str/my store here, click the heart, save me as a seller. What happens? It gets them into the funnel, so that way I can send communication to you. I can send a newsletter to you. I can include you in my buyer groups. eBay is going to ping you when my items go on sale. eBay is going to communicate with you if I drop my item by 5%. But until they click that star and volunteer themselves as saying, I want to follow this store, it means absolutely nothing. And all of these tools are new. These tools are roughly 2 years old. Before that, we were stuck. We didn't have anything to do. So if we do want buyers to follow us, to follow our journey, to follow our store, to repeat, we have to give them actionable information that they can do. Go to my store. Here's the link. Click the heart. People don't know how to do that. Here's a coupon. Do this. This is how you use the coupon. People don't know how to do that. So on my flyers, I have actionable hand-holding information on how to follow the store, how to use this coupon. This is how many items I list every single day, just like this. And my repeat buyers was through the moon. So I think a lot of it does transfer over. I think eBay is getting to the point where they are allowing us to kind of build a brand, and I think that is also helpful. But I think overall, at the end of the day, the eBay shopper is an eBay shopper. If they happen to see us again, great. I also do believe there will become a time, not today, maybe not tomorrow, that the feed will start to be curated on your past purchases if you've had good experiences. It only makes sense. If you've purchased from me 5 times and you search for something and I'm here, why not put me to the top? And I think just like every other feed across social media, it learns what you want, what you engage with. And if you want and you engage with my listings, it only makes sense that eBay is going to start showing that more and more to you specifically, because you stop scrolling when you see my listing and you convert and it results in a sale. So I think that's coming. And when you go to ebay.com, the front page that a lot of us skip over, and we just type in Nike shirt and we skip over the front page. If you look at the front page of ebay.com, that is eBay curating items that you might like from sellers who you've already looked at or you've dealt with. That's already there, but it's going to come to search one day. So very good. Good question. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you. See you next week, maybe. All right, good question from Lauren. Very good. Anybody else out there, if you want to jump on the live, 302-048-8962. If you have any questions, put them into the chat. Do you include tax when figuring out cost of goods? So if you go to the store and your item is $5 and you got to pay 6% tax, your cost of goods is $5.30. That money went somewhere. It didn't just disappear into thin air. So yes, we definitely do need to factor that in. So, all right, let's see who's next on the line. If you do want to join in, make sure you go to the Zoom room, 302-048-8962. Anybody can join in. Anybody can join in. Password live, LIVE. All right, Jojo, we're running it back, giving it another shot. What's happening? Yo, how we doing?
Everything good. My bad about the technical difficulties. Computer was bugging out.
It's a new thing, man. New format. We're just taking it how it goes.
Yeah, man, I love it. I'm on the phone right now, so my bad if it comes out a little choppy or laggy.
Sounds great. What's happening?
Just hanging out, chilling, whatnot. Saw you had the stream going on. I was curious. I know it's like a pretty basic question and whatnot, but knowing that you run so many different avenues, I guess, of this business, brick and mortar, you have an Instagram where you reply to everybody, you have a Patreon, you have a Facebook group. And I could keep on going, you know what I mean? How do you find the time of day to reply to people? How do you have potential customers and all that stuff? Do you set a certain time to reply to everybody on all platforms? Do you do it whenever you're free?
A little bit of everything. So like when my phone blings, like if there's a bling on the phone,
right,
there's money on the line. So like if the phone blings, I need to put my attention to it. So like my email on my phone, when it blings, that's eBay email, there's money on the line. So yeah, I do want to respond to my eBay customers quickly. I do want to respond to my offers as quickly as possible. When Instagram blings, probably money on the line or somebody that, you know, needs some help. So my Instagram is always unread 0, unreplied to 0. Wow. The YouTube comments, I usually knock those out probably 3 times a day, morning, lunch, night. Then all the questions in the Facebook group, I knock those out morning, lunch, and night. So it's kind of just like this wheel that just keeps going and going and going forever. But the ones that are time sensitive, money's on the line, those get responded to immediately.
Wow, that's interesting. So I'm assuming all your notifications are turned on for your phone. It's just nonstop blinging.
I don't have any notifications on my phone that do not result in making
Some
money.
money. Yep.
Like if my phone rings, it's money on the line.
That's fair.
Or it is a, did you vote this year? I'm getting a lot of those texts. I'm getting a lot of texts from everyone asking me, did I vote this year? I don't know
Yes.
how the heck they're getting all the phone numbers,
Phone
but I do get a lot
numbers.
of those. Those do not result in making money. But other than that, outside of this season, if the phone blings, I'm making money. That's it. It's not for no nonsense.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and it's very it's crazy how you do it, because you reply to YouTube, eBay messages, Instagram comments.
It's
You
a
have your
game
Facebook,
too.
the group.
It's a game.
It's definitely a
game
game,
too.
because I get overwhelmed with 4 messages on eBay. So
No, it's a game because it's me versus everybody else. It's me versus all the comments. Y'all not gonna beat me. It's me
Yep.
versus every single question in the Facebook group. Y'all not gonna beat me. It's me
Yep.
versus every single question in the chat. Y'all not gonna beat me. Just flat out, like no one's gonna beat me. So I think a lot of it is schedule based. I think a lot of it is making sure all your ducks are in a row, and when the last duck is counted, we got to go back to the beginning. So I think that, you know, it's just about, you know, discipline and being consistent. And like if you don't do it, you don't stay up for it, then it becomes overwhelming. So like as long as you just take one bite at a time, one bite at a time, one bite at a time, it doesn't get crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I always feel overwhelmed when I get a couple messages, and then I see on your end you replied to over 100 people per day. So it's like, damn, I need to wake up or do something better on my end.
You just got to knock it out when it comes, man.
Yeah. That's
Other than that,
true.
everything good?
Everything good. Can't complain. Definitely have to get back to you on that. Everything is smooth. I saw the stream. I saw it was an early timing. Was it at 1 p.m. right now? You started at 12. That's cool.
Yeah, we can't compete with the World Series tonight. I'll get wrecked.
Oh, that's right. That is right. That is the World Series tonight. Who are you going
I'll
for?
get wrecked tonight in the chat if we're competing with the World Series.
Who are you going for?
That's a good question for the chat. I mean, it's a little bit late in the game because the Yankees are getting mollywopped.
Destroyed. Yeah.
But they had a good game yesterday, but they didn't put in their best pitchers yesterday. But you know, maybe the Dodgers gave them one and they're gonna win it at home, but they ain't looking good.
Yeah, that 1-3 comeback. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Hey, they ain't the Heat, I'll tell you that. What about Dwayne Wade's? What about Dwayne Wade's statue? How did they do it to him?
Ooh, dude, I don't understand how the world works, man. We were creating beautiful statues like thousands of years ago. What are we doing nowadays, right?
That's a great point.
Right, dude. It looks something else, man. That thing looks something else.
Oh, good. Thank you, Jojo. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my boss. See you soon.
Thank you. Very good. Jojo on the line. If you do want to be on the line, you do got a question, make sure that you call in 302-048-8962. We came in a little bit early. We got Hanley in the chat. What's happening to Hanley? You want to get on the line, Hanley? 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE. Taking questions live, trying to help as many people as possible. Like I said, I don't know the people that's coming on. If they're scammers, I'm not co-signing. If they have past transgressions, I'm not co-signing. I just want to come on here and I just want to help as many people as possible. All right, let's see who else is on the line. Let's get Timothy queued up. Getting Timothy queued up. Timothy, you out there?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's happening? You got a question?
Yeah, am I on video? Can you see? Oh, I see it. Hold on.
No, you are on video now, in the car. Be safe, though. I don't co-sign driving in the car on Zoom, on YouTube. Can't be responsible.
No, I'm parked.
Okay, good. What's up?
Yeah, so the other day I was watching your video when you were in San Francisco, and you went to that Chinese guy and he just had all that cool stuff. Remember?
I remember. I was there.
Yeah, so I was like, I got motivated by that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I know I can go to this. It's a flea market that's 7 days a week, and so it's kind of hard to find stuff since it's 7 days and people go through all the good stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna find stuff. And so I just started going through all these piles, and I started finding stuff. I found this Ralph Lauren Denim and Supply Company, you know, the vintage one.
Absolutely, I know it.
So it didn't have a tag on it. The tags had been removed, and there was no markings. And I'm like, this looks really unique, but like I'm trying to figure out what it is. And then I looked at the buttons, and the button said RL Denim and Supply, and I'm like, oh, this is one of those.
That's
and
right.
so yeah, I picked it up. It had some stains on it. I washed it. I got the stains out, and it looks brand new now. I'm stoked.
Nice, man. Good work. Hey, it's funny how that works, right? We get out there, we put boots on the ground, and we find stuff, huh?
Yeah, lots Angeles, it's very, very easy to find stuff. If you're going to search, if you just want to pick up the first thing that's on the top, you're not going to find it. But if you start moving stuff around and start digging around, you can really find stuff.
That's it. Tell them again. You got to look around. The more I look, the more items I touch, the luckier I get, and the better items that I find. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. Thanks for calling in, Tim. Appreciate it. All right, we got Tim on the line, putting it out there. That's Tim Words. That's not just me. That's Tim Words. Tim out there finding stuff. We got James Bold Finds in the chat. He made a monumental return back to YouTube, so it's always good to see him. Hope you're doing all right, mate. All right, let's see who we got up next. Who do we got up next? On the line, do we got a question? Kelby, you're on the line. Unmute, my man.
What's going on, Tech? What's going on, brother?
How you doing? Live from HQ?
Live from HQ. You see it.
How's it going? What's up?
Get some shipping done. Hey, yeah, so I had a quick question in regards to kind of tag along what Isaiah had asked. As far as, what we do, of course, we're resellers, but we're entrepreneurs first and foremost. So in terms of when you were starting your other businesses, how the heck did you have time to even start other businesses? Now, I don't know exactly when you started them, but I assume it was still pretty much in the heyday where you're very, very hands-on with your eBay in terms of listings, drafts, etc., sourcing possibly. So did you just was there like a team that you already kind of put in place, or were you out there, for example, your long company, were you mowing push mower in it until you ended up getting enough, getting enough lawns to then hire a team, or how did you even go about?
That's exactly how I did it. Exactly how I did it. And I showed some screenshots last week on the morning call where I always did eBay after work. So I would go to work, build my business all day, and then I would stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning doing all my listings, and then I would go to sleep and wake up at 4, and I would do it again. Just what I did. And that's what it takes. So like if you want to do multiple things, you're gonna have to do multiple things. It's gonna take a lot of time. So like I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would rock and roll, boots on the ground, get everything that I needed to get done, get all of my shipping done. Now, mind you, like back then, maybe I was doing 30 a day. It wasn't 120 a day like I was doing for a long time. It was 30 a day. Maybe it was taking me 3-4 hours a day. Once, I got better experience with eBay, better experience with sourcing. Once the business was, not in 100% grind mode, maybe 99% grind mode, I increased my listeners. I go to 50. I increase my listeners. I go to 120. So like there was a long time, probably 10 years, where I was doing 120 items every single day. And I was cutting grass every single day, 7 days a week, knocking on doors, getting jobs. And it sucked. It was brutal, but that's what I had to do at the time, man. And that's just the way it goes. And there is no shortcut to it. There is no shortcut to success. I would never advise anybody to work 20 hours a day, but we went through all the screenshots from 2019 where that's what I was doing, man. I was out there getting it in, cutting down trees, cutting grass, listing 120 items, going to sleep at 2 a.m., waking up at 4. And that's what I did. That's what I had to do. That's what I felt I had to do.
If you were to do that with when you were doing 120, do you think you would have still been able to do it?
I was doing it at 120. I was doing it at 120.
You're doing it at 120. I misunderstood. You said starting at when you were doing 30, but obviously as you grew.
But I grew both businesses at the same time. Like all boats gotta go up. One can't go up, one can't go down. So no, it sucked. It sucked. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It sucked.
Gotcha. And the second question is along the lines of eBay and storage. As when I went over to your warehouse, I have the same system that you developed in terms of not just develop, but the 4-in-1 system where there's 2 racks stacked on top of each other. And why didn't you, I don't know if I asked you this when I was there, but why didn't you go higher instead of getting another warehouse? Like, why didn't you do a 3rd and 4 rack and have like a rolling ladder maybe?
Oh, I did, Grasshopper. I did. So
you did? Okay.
If you have an eagle eye, when I show my warehouse, the first rack on the right is actually 3 levels. The top level is empty. So once upon a time when I had a 1,200 square foot warehouse, I was running out of space and I went 3 high. The only thing that sucks more than cutting grass all day and then doing 120 listings is going 3 high on your clothing rack. That sucks. So what I did was I had milk crates and I zip tied them together, 1, 2, 3. So I created my own stairs. They slid back and forth. The only thing that sucks worse than cutting grass and doing 120 a day is going 3 high, because this is what happens. You push a little thing, you get up there, you find the item, or you think you're going to be at the item, and it's going to be this far away. And you have to get down, you have to push it back, you have to go back up, you have to find it. And then your next item is in this direction, this far away, and you got to get down and push it, and you got to go. Sucked. I did it. Would not recommend. I would recommend more floor space than going 3 high on the racks. Sucked.
Really.
Unless you have like a robot or automation or like one of those dry cleaning thing that's gonna zip it down for you, it sucked, man.
Yeah, because our lease actually ends this upcoming month, and it's just a question of, do we go bigger square footage or do we go up? So I mean, that's kind of sort of answering the question in terms of more square footage instead of going up. But you know, just trying to get the most bang for the buck right now.
Yeah, I can't help you on that one, man. All I could say, I can sign off and certify I would get more floor space than go up.
Gotcha. Well, appreciate it. Appreciate the advice.
Likewise. Thanks, Kelby. All right, Kelby on the line. Very good. They do have some resources that allow you to go up. You can buy a mezzanine. They are a little bit pricey, but you can do that. I never did the mezzanine because I didn't want to spend that much money in a warehouse that like I didn't own. I was just renting it. And at any given time, you know, they can give you the good news and they can put you out or, you know, raise the rent or whatever. So I didn't want to put that much investment into the second level mezzanine personally. So Kelby's fiance says, how did you do all that and maintain a relationship? Ha, 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 ha. That's a question for my wife. My wife is very understanding. My wife is so gracious and giving to let me rock and roll 24 hours a day. But we just rock and roll, man. That's it. So Reseller Project Michelle says a rolling ladder might work. Then you can pull yourself around. Look, y'all can have all the bright ideas for 3 levels. You're not going to change my mind. It's not good. It's brutal. If anyone wants to jump in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE, all lowercase, LIVE, all lowercase. Sarah, how you doing? What's happening?
Tech.
Good. How are you? Good. Thanks. What's going on?
Thanks for doing this. My question is, you know, I woke up this morning realizing we have 2 months left of the year.
That's
and I'm
right.
a little short on my goal. And so I was wondering if you could maybe, I know you say you just have to work harder, is always your answer.
Unfortunately, yes.
So if I'm looking at where I need to do an extra $600 a month in sales.
Okay, that's just
you
$20
kind of help
a day.
me break it down into what working more means, like quantify that.
That's $20 a day. You could get $20 a day. How do you get $20 a day?
I had to list one more $20 profit item every day.
You got to sell one more $20 profit item a day.
Oh, I have to sell one more. You're right. Listing one doesn't do me any good.
You don't get any credit for that. Now listing one more $20 item gets you on the right path to get there.
Okay.
So how do you do it? How do we get either $20 more profit per day? It does start with listing one additional item. And if you start listing one additional item, as you know, the store math, we got to get our store to a certain level that's going to give us one more extra sale. And that might not happen today. You know, maybe it's going to take a couple of weeks, maybe a month to get there, but we will get on pace to be on pace to where we want to be. Or we can spend more time doing what? Oh, you got it.
We can spend more time sourcing or listing.
Boots on the ground sourcing, looking for an item that's going to sell today and get us that $20.
Mm-hmm.
So we got
definitely
two choices.
Been trying to do that. Okay, so if I need to sell one more $20 profit item, and I sell on average, I sell 7 items a day. I list 8, I sell 7. Right. So,
well, if you list 8 and sell 7, you're already in a position where you got to start doing more. There's no growth anymore.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way. So I just need to up my listing goal.
That's right. If you started listing 10, you'd have your 20 bucks quick.
Okay. So I should focus on 2 more items, which means I need to have more time sourcing because I
More
run out
time
of items
sourcing.
every week.
Yeah, more time sourcing, and you've been doing fantastic at the bins. Yesterday you had a great day, but the day before you didn't have a great day. So it's all the averages, right?
Right.
So
right.
yeah, a little bit more time at the bins, a little bit more time listings. But if you listed 10 a day of what you currently have or better, hopefully, we always got to try to get better. Run into a couple home runs as we're spending more time out there, touching more items, touching more product. Everything will start coming together. But when you are at the point where you're listing 8, selling 7, fantastic place to be. Now we got to get to the point where you are listing 10, selling 9. We get to the point where you're listing 12, selling 10. Get to the point where you're listing 15, selling 13. So you just got to keep listing the same kind of items that you're listing. You just got to list more of them. Or run into some of these home runs where you get a $50 profit, where you get a $30 profit, where you get a $100 profit. And that's going to only be a result of you spending more time at the bins, at a garage sale, acquiring the education, just more time touching product and running into more pieces.
All right. I think I just need a confirmation of that. Now I got to go set my goal and make it happen. So
what are you going to do for next year? Do you have an idea? I'm not asking for the whole thing. Do you have an idea? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm hitting 100K next year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to hit 100K part-time.
Nice.
So
and for Sarah, people don't know, you spend a lot of time flying, you spend a lot of time traveling, and you're going to hit that 100K next year.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you attribute getting to 100K? What do you attribute that growth?
What you've taught, like following exactly to the letter everything that you teach us, knowing your numbers, getting to understand brands, materials, trends, what sells, doing your research. I mean, you've set out the blueprint for us, and all you need to do is follow it, to be honest.
All right.
And the more time that you focus on the blueprint and the less time you focus on trying to figure out your own way that's easier, faster, better, the quicker you're going to have success.
So tell me this. You had great sales yesterday. Give all the fine folks out there a good item that you sold in the last couple of days based on the pattern, style, everything that you've come across. Just give us one.
A great item, like
just a good one. Just tease us a little bit of a good item that you sold due to all the research that you've come across.
All right, I will. You're making me think here.
Putting you on the spot, but that's what we do.
Outside of my comfort zone. I found a corduroy brown blazer that was Barney's, New York, made in Italy at the bins. And I sold that for $50 on Friday.
Nice. And where'd you get that?
My store was on time away. Yep.
Nice. Good work.
Just, so not a huge following for the brand, but made in Italy, brown and corduroy. It's fall. It works.
That's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep fighting the good fight. All right, Sarah, zooming in. If you guys want to jump in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE, 302-048-8962, password LIVE. So in response to Tiffany, she says, how did you do all that and maintain a relationship? Ha, 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 ha. My wife says, be a team player. There's a bigger picture of the end goal. And a lot of you guys, that, my wife and I, we had a plan to work very, very, very hard for 15 years until my son graduated high school and then take the 50-year vacation. And now you guys are starting to see it exactly how I've been talking about for almost 10 years on podcasts or 10 years on Zoom calls here and there. Just try to get to the point where, very, very fortunate, very smart with the money, make some wise investments, keep leveling up the game, learn how to allow my money to work for me and not me to work for the money so much all the time. And like in the podcast with Benji, kind of create that infinite money loop that, in my head only makes the most perfect sense. And that's what that's what we worked for. So like my wife said, be that team player. You know, have your eyes on the prize. It does take some sacrifice. We got the shoe call starting in 5 minutes. So if you do sell shoes, we got the shoe call starting in 5 minutes, where a bunch of shoe sellers, they all get together, talk about shoe stuff, and there's a lot of knowledgeable people on the shoe call every single week. So if you got some questions, put it into the chat. Put a couple question marks in the front. If you want to zoom in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE. 302-048-8962, password LIVE. All right, let's get this person in. They don't have a full name on there. They have a Zoom name. Let's see. Do it for the children. I'm a little bit cautious because there's no name, so I don't know. I got my finger on the boot trigger very, very quickly. Do it for the children. Unmute.
Unmute. My name is James.
All right, James, how you doing?
I do it for my children.
Very good. We take it. What's the question?
All right. So I have a bunch of boots I just bought from Nike. I sell new products.
Okay.
And they're in all different sizes. Is it better for the algorithm to create a variation listing or individual listings?
All right. So me personally, I like to have more hooks in the water. So I like to spread it out and do one listing per size.
Okay.
Now, but there are some benefits. There's trade-offs to doing it. So the benefits for a multi-quantity or a variation listing is as the listing gains traction, you do get more favorability in the search. So if you have a listing that has multi-quantity, you have a listing that has variation, what your goal is with that listing, just like every other listing, but it's a little bit more important with this type of listing, is to get buyers to click on it, to get buyers to interact with it, send an offer, to get buyers to convert on a sale. And the more you can get buyers to click on your item, to convert on a sale, that listing will start to gain momentum and gain traction. That's why every single time you search something in a lot of categories, the first listing that pops up is a variation or multi-quantity listing that says 45 sold. That tells eBay this is a quality listing that people are interacting with, people are clicking on, and most importantly, people are converting on. So if you can get a listing that does have high conversion, then you can do a good multi-quantity listing. Now, again, you can also use the out of stock option, where if you do run out of stock of this listing and you want to replenish it, you could use the out of stock option, replenish the listing, and the listing will gain back traction and be where it used to be in the search. So if you want to do variation, you got to be a lot of weight on your keywords, a lot of weight on your click-through, a lot of weight on your conversion. If people are clicking and leaving, that's like a downvote. If people are clicking, sending an offer, if people are clicking and converting, that's what eBay wants to see. They want to see conversions. They want to see positive feedback. They want to see happy customers. They don't want to see negative feedback. They don't want to see return requests. Or you could do the more hooks in the water approach. I personally like the more hooks in the water approach personally.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very good. Where are you from?
Long Island, New York.
All right. Getting
Where
cold
are
up
you?
there, huh? I was just in New York for about a month, and I think I just escaped in time.
Well, it's going to be 72 or 73 today, tomorrow up to 80. And then it's going to drop on Saturday to like 53.
No, thank you. I got to get out of there. Got to get out of Dodge. All right,
Oh,
very
man.
good.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
You got any other questions real quick?
Oh, man. eBay. I'm pretty good on eBay.
Okay.
People always ask me, what should I do? Just to let you know, people say, what would you do in this situation? I'm like, well, tech does this. That's what I do. If I gotta,
there's a lot of
tech
stuff
used
I
to
do
do
that
this.
a lot of people probably shouldn't do because, you know, we all have different things, man. So I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Maybe we see you next week.
With selling on eBay, you pretty much mastered it. So I follow you with eBay as much as I can because I want to replicate what you did. So I thank you very much for that.
I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
All right, Tech. Take care.
Adios. All right, very good. Good call in. We appreciate that. If you want to jump in, hit us 302-048-8962. We came in early this week. If you don't want to miss us, right down here, there's a notification bell. Click the notification bell because I go live at different times. Tonight is the World Series. I didn't want to compete with the World Series because a lot of you guys wouldn't be here. You guys would be watching the World Series. And you guys wouldn't be watching this, gaining the education, getting actionable advice on how to succeed. So Brianna says, who are do my taxes? I usually go to the library for free, but this year I started reselling and I'm not sure they will know what to do. Who can do my taxes? Very good. So look, taxes are the same. It's money in versus money out. Whatever you keep is the profit. That's what you pay taxes on. And of course, you're going to have, other deductions and other allowances and things like that. I'm not a tax professional. However, I do pay a lot of taxes. You can always get a free consultation at any sort of CPA or any place like that. Just know if the consultation is free, you are the product. They are trying to sell you something. But with what you usually pay a CPA, they can more than save you by preparing your taxes and helping you with your taxes. And again, hiring a CPA is a tax deductible line item as well. So there really is no loss in that. You can do your taxes yourself. Inside of the group, we do have a CPA every single Thursday. She's on there. She works with people, answers tax questions. And look, the group is $34.99 a month. You can't even talk to a CPA for $34.99 a month. And right here, you could talk to a CPA multiple times per month for less than what it would cost you to talk to a CPA in real life. And they know how to resell, and they know all the deductions that resellers need. And in addition to talking to the CPA, you get over 30 calls per week. Like, it's an absolute no-brainer. Like, just joining to talk to the CPA and everything else is free. Makes sense. Hanley says, why is it the World Series if it's only Americans taking part? Spoken like someone from Scotland. Finally understood that an average buy cost of 6, an average sell of 30 means I can pick up half for 3 into 15, half of 9 into 45. Game over for the competition. I mean, so everything is averages. You're absolutely right. But remember, every single time you do buy an item that's going to sell for 15, you have to offset it with an item that's going to sell for 45. You buy an item that's going to sell for 10, then you have to get an item that's going to sell for 50. Like, that's just the way it goes. So the more you buy the 15s, the more your metric is going to skew this way. The more you buy the 45s, the metric is going to skew this way. So you do have to be cautious of that. I want to err on the side of my metric is X. If X is a $20 profit, just as an example, if X is a 90-day sell-through, just as an example, you could build a beautiful business on a $10 profit. You could build a beautiful business on a 180-day sell-through. Whatever you want to do, just that's the metric. The most important part to remember about the metric is that is the baseline. That is the absolute worst item that you are going to allow in your store. If your metric is $20 profit, 90-day sell-through, you better not bring home a $10 profit with a 500-day sell-through. Shame on you. That is not your metric. Your metric is your baseline. That is the absolute very worst item that you will ever allow into your store. Everything above that, the bare minimum of a $20 profit, 90-day sell-through, everything above that is the upside. So you got to be careful with that. And the margin, the spread on 3 to 15 is not the same as 6 into 30. There's a lot more profit, a lot more dollars in that 6 into 30 that gives you more cash flow. So Angie says, do returns for fit hurt my algorithm? I show photos of all the measurements, but lately I am getting a lot of returns for fit. So there are 2 types of returns. One is buyer's remorse. One is item not as described. Buyer's remorse returns do not impact your account. Buyer's remorse returns include wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, changed mind, no longer need. Wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better price, changed mind, no longer need. Those are buyer's remorse returns. They do not impact your account. The item not as described returns, those are item not as described, not as pictured, arrived damaged, missing parts or pieces. Those are your fault. You do get your account impacted with the item not as described as returns. And you can go to your metrics page. They have a thermometer there, and it will tell you how you stack up against your peers. They don't tell you who your peers are, but they tell you how you stack up against them. And if you have been assessed where you stack up in a very high manner, then you can be assessed extra final value fees as a penalty and also decrease visibility. So the item not as described, we want to try to stay away from those. Those are our fault. The buyer's remorse, there's no harm, no foul. So if you sell 100 items and 100 items come back for wrong size, doesn't fit, and you're including all the measurements and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do, don't sweat it. It's part of the game. If you sell clothing, that's going to happen. It's just one of those things. So Michelle says, with listings with variations, there is no make offer. That is correct. And you can't send offers either. That is correct. Why do you prefer using hangers instead of having everything already packed? So having hangers is fastest without a doubt. It's faster to put away, faster in the stickering SKU process because you don't have to do it, and faster picking. However, the downside is you need more space. Having items in a SKU, in a bag, in a box is slower in the processing part, slower in the picking part, but you can fit much more. So my philosophy was always, I could just get more space rather than get more time. So for me, the hanger worked because it's the fastest. I never lost anything. You can visually see your oldest items, which I also like to help me with my aged inventory markdown strategy. But however, the downside is it does take more space. The skewing and the bag and the folding and putting it in, that takes more time, especially on the listing portion and put away portion, where I could just spend that time listing more items. Very good, very good. All right, let's get Mark on the line. If you want to jump in, 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE. Don't be bashful, jump in. Mark, what's happening?
Hey Tech, how's it going?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good man. Just want to say thanks for all the information. Really helped me out a lot. So
My pleasure.
if anybody isn't in the group, you should join because it's a lot of great information. So
Thanks. Do you have a question?
yeah, so I was just gonna ask you, like when it comes to like brands and brand life cycle, like is there anything like you looked out for to kind of like indicate when something was getting like saturated or when you should maybe like stop picking something up? And also like, did you ever shop by like style, even though it wasn't like a great brand or something, but you knew it was like a hot pattern or a hot specific design? Did you like look at that when you were sourcing and stuff like that?
All right, very good question. So I'll do the second question first. I never shopped on style. eBay is so brand intensive that for me personally, I don't want to shop by style because this is the biggest difference. A vintage 1983 Harley Davidson North Carolina motorcycle rally shirt will sell every single time. A vintage, very cool 1983 North Carolina motorcycle rally shirt will never sell. You know what I mean? A Ralph Lauren corduroy button-up shirt will sell every single time. A XYZ corduroy button-up shirt, good luck. So for me, I heavily weigh the brand. I don't do style. Now, when I can combine brand with good style, I'm all in. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for brand with good style because you can have good brand, generic style, and that's still just as hard to sell sometimes. So for me, brand reigns supreme above everything else. If it has a good style, I need that too. If it's brand weak style, maybe we second guess that. As for brands falling out of favor and not getting so good anymore, not being so popular anymore, that's one of the benefits of doing the aged inventory markdown strategy. The aged inventory markdown strategy, we're marking down items by age. And if once upon a time you had your most aggressive, your oldest markdowns, and these particular items never made it into the markdown, you know those are selling. If now they're all in the markdown, you know something's going wrong. Either it's saturated, either it's falling out of style, either you need to go back in there and reassess the price. Maybe the price has come down. So with the aged inventory markdown strategy, we need to audit the items that are passing through all of our filters, our 10% off filter, our 20% off filter, our 30% off filter. When we're at 50% off filter and this stuff is still falling through, we can't be buying them at the same percentage for the same prices at the same clip as we were when they were selling for full price, no offers. So those items need to get called out, and we need to assess our inventory and audit our inventory. And we always need to be taking out the bottom 10, 20% of our worst performing items based on age. That's the metric that I like to look at. Based on age, call out that last 10, 20% and start replacing them with the 10, 20% of those new kids on the block. those new hot brands that are coming out. So for me, I used my age inventory system as kind of like a feature to sift through everything. And whatever was there at the bottom, I can't be a fool still out here buying this as if it was still that brand.
So were you like looking at too, like, was it like based on a specific item too, or like do you kind of wait until you get multiple like of the same brand getting into the markdown? Because like, I mean, I guess maybe if you missed a stain or like a specific pattern in a brand, like that could cause it to drop too.
Right.
So
I,
like,
I
and
looked
did you,
for I looked for patterns.
okay,
Is this brand always here? Is this size always here? Like I got to stop picking up extra smalls. For men, they
yeah,
don't sell. I gotta let these go. It doesn't matter what the brand is. You know what I mean? Do I gotta stop picking up certain patterns that were once? So I'm not looking for pattern of the shirt. I'm looking for pattern in the inventory of what is reoccurring too much where it didn't used to reoccur like this.
gotcha. Awesome. Thanks,
Very
Tech.
good.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Likewise. Thank you. All right. Very good. Very good. Good question from my man Mark out there in the Zoom land. And if you guys want to jump on, 302-048-8962. Maybe we can get a couple more people on here. We got some questions in the chat. Sold a football card in very thick case. Buyer pulled it out of the case, damaging it. Now states it has tape inside the case and it's ruined. Started a return. Any thoughts? Card sellers are very particular, and you have to make sure that you ship it correctly. If the item is in fact damaged, you're going to have to accept it for a return. If it was damaged by the customer, eBay does allow you to withhold up to 50% for the decreased diminished value. And that's what happens at the end of the day. If you run a promo and you change the amount to a lesser number, if it sells, does the promo price go off of the last number? If you run a promo and you change the amount to a lesser number, I don't understand that question. Type it again. What flea market would you travel to if you lived in Minnesota? I've tried to use the method you described, and the closest one I found is 4 hours away. Then guess what? I would be in the car going to 4 hours away. You got to do what you got to do. If an item as chosen based on a 90-day sell-through, is it too aggressive to start marking down inventory after 31 days? That aggressiveness is only up for you to decide. Nobody else can tell you that. So like, if you feel like your money has been out in the street for too long and you want it back, mark that thing down and go get the sale. I believe the proper listing in itself is a promotion. If the items you're picking up have a high enough sell-through demand, do you agree? I believe that proper listing in itself is a promotion if the items you're picking up have a high enough sell-through demand. Yeah, so our offer can supersede and outperform whatever the market says. So there's a lot of items that people say, that item never sells for me. Where I was filling up wheelbarrows of money with those items because I knew how to sell those particular items. So like I was getting all the sales. Everyone else was getting no sales. I was getting all the sales because I knew the proper keyword to attract that customer that was looking for that item. And if you go on Terapeak and you press those little arrows to the side, it will give you a graph that tells you what portion of the sellers get that portion of the sales. And on every single brand, 80% of all the sales are going to 20% of the sellers. 20% of the sales are going to 80% of the sellers that have to fight over them. So like if you list them the correct way and you know how to attract the correct buyer, the sell-through rate that you see on ebay.com, that doesn't apply to you. Every single person that's listening to this should be a professional where they can outperform the eBay sell-through, because there's so many civilians that are listing on eBay and have no idea what they're doing that we should be able to outperform whatever kind of data eBay is showing us. Thanks so much for all the information. If I'm trying to search comps on something, why do I get more results if I get more specific? So eBay has a little bit of liberty inside of the algorithm. So like as you add more keywords, they start getting a little bit more adjacent and take more liberty because they're trying to figure out what you're trying to do. And there's going to be a cutoff. There's going to be like an invisible bar that says more items that are like this search, and you may be running into those items as well. What are the best options to get out of a very high returns tier in the Cervix metrics? Good question. You have to sell more items successfully on a percent basis versus items unsuccessfully. So if you sell more items unsuccessfully, your percent will go up. If you sell 100 items and you have no issues, you have 0%. If you sell 100 items, you have 5 issues, you have 5%. If you sell 200 items and you still have 5 issues, you have 2.5%. So you need to sell more items with less issues to offset that percentage, and or get yourself into the 400 sales in 90 days and move yourself into a 90-day evaluation. Let those old item not as described and defects fall off. Because if you're assessed on a 12-month rolling schedule because you have less than 400 sales in 90 days, we got to get over the 400 sales bump, and we got to get rid of those 9 months. They're pulling us down. So we got to get over 400 sales, shorten that assessment window, and we have to sell more items successfully versus unsuccessfully to drop our percentage. Should I keep decreasing prices until items sell? I'm a new seller. Depends on how bad you need the money. If you need the money today, then yes. If you can afford the luxury of waiting for the right buyer to pay the right price, then you can wait a little bit. Keep in mind, the market is the market. We can't be 10 times market. We got to be at market, competitive with the market, and hopefully that's going to result in a sale. If I'm promoting at 15% and I change the promo to 8% and it sells, am I paying 8% for promoted? That's a very good question, but this is how it works. If the buyer clicked on your listing when it was 15% and they clicked on it 29 days ago, the cookie stays on their eBay account for 30 days. So if they clicked a 15% promoted listing, you have changed it to 8%, and then they buy it, you're still assessed the 15% promoted listings because that is the cookie on their computer. So it all depends on when the promoted listings was clicked. If someone would have asked you 15 to 20 years ago if you would ever be at the level you are now, how would you have answered? I don't know, man. It's been a wild ride, I'll tell you that. Like, there's a lot that I've like forgotten. But I will tell you this. My mom, growing up, always used to tell me that I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be the president, I'm going to be in prison. So luckily, I've never been to prison. I've been very fortunate. Am not the president. So 1 out of the 3 was correct, because my mom always knew I was with it. And I haven't always been with it. I was young and dumb back in the day. I haven't always been with it in a positive, productive manner. Back in the day, we all do silly stuff as kids. I could just as easily be the biggest and the best in a different type of niche, but I'm the biggest and the best inside of this niche. And luckily, it's kept me on the right path in a positive, productive situation. Like, my mom knew very quickly, I'm with it. I can understand the game. Game recognizes game. Like, I'm with it. I could do it. I just got to put my powers towards being positive and productive. And luckily, probably thanks to my son being born, it kind of snapped me out of a lot of stuff that I was going down the wrong path. And he's 21, about to be 22. So I've been on the straight and narrow for a very long time. Breeze says Tech the Kingpin would be cool to see. Look, it's the same game. I mean, let's be real. It's the same game. You get a lot of stuff and you break it down and you sell it individually and you keep the money flipping. It's the same game. You're just selling stuff that's not going to result in jail time. Should we be auctioning dead stock ASAP? I'm a game reseller. Well, it depends. Is there demand or desire, collectability, rarity, where people are going to bid it up? If so, then yeah, it's a good candidate. And how do we know? How can we check? We can go on eBay and we can search and we can click auction format. And underneath auction format, we can look at similar items and we can see if they have multiple bids. So if it has 16 bids and it's been bid up, I would have more confidence. If it has 1 bid and stopped at its opening bid, maybe that's an item that I would put at buy it now, not at auction. All right, let's see if we can get somebody else on the line. Florencia, how are you? Florencia, are you out there? Come on, unmute. Gene Queen said it. Florencia.
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Hey,
Sorry.
how's it going? Where you from?
I am from Phoenix. I used to live in LA, but we moved to Arizona a few years ago.
Nice. You got some shoes over there. I see it.
Yes,
those are listed or unlisted?
No, those are all listed.
All right, good. Because you know how I am about death piles. I'll go to Phoenix and get that stuff listed for you ASAP.
No, we don't have death pile. We just have like a queue.
I'm with that. I'm okay with that. So what's going on? You got a question?
Yes. We're currently kind of in a rough situation. We've been reselling for a few years.
Mhm.
Basically just wanted to see your thoughts on growing, because we're just plateau. And sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
You're
And
doing fantastic.
we don't know if actually, like, we don't know how to exactly grow from now, because we're bringing like the same amount of money, and but we want to grow.
Okay.
So
All right. So,
what's your thoughts?
all right. So you need to ask yourself first and foremost, where is your money? Is it in your bank account?
Yes.
All your money for your business
Well,
is in
no,
your
no,
bank
no. I
account?
mean, we bring the money and then, it goes to expenses and repurchase inventory and stuff.
All right. So if the money is not in our bank account, where's the money?
In inventory.
It's sitting on eBay listed, not selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do we turn those items that may be underperforming, maybe not selling fast enough? How do we turn that back into money?
Selling them.
How? They're not selling right now. Like, what do we got to do?
I guess what you were saying right now about the listing, like the discount.
You can discount some.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe accept a little bit of a more aggressive offer. Maybe
Yes.
send a little bit of a more aggressive offer. Maybe go back into to those listings, rework the titles, put in better keywords that are going to create better separators and create more attraction for the customers that you're looking for. Reassess the price first and foremost. Are you too expensive? You can maybe increase promoted listings a tad, because right now we're just trying to get some money so that way we can put it back into the business and get more items. You got to be careful. You got to know your numbers if you're going to start playing with promoted listings. A lot of people are promoted listings and they're promoting themselves out of business. So we can do our newsletters, we could do our buyer groups, we can send offers to watchers very frequently. But the number one thing is usually it's very, very price dependent, because every single shoe you have sitting over there has 100% sell through that will sell today at a certain price. Now, can you afford to sell those shoes today at the sell it today price? Probably not. It might be $5, it might be $7, might be $10. But we have to find that balance between the desperation of the money and how long I can afford to wait for the money. Because if you have those items 1.5, 2 times eBay market, you're going to be sitting on them for a long time. Eventually they will sell, but you're going to be sitting on them. So we need to find ourselves somewhere inside of the scale of total fire sale. I can sell these by the time me and you are done with this conversation. That might be $1 each. I can get them all sold in the chat for you. That's not going to help you. So how do we find that sweet spot in what I'm currently pricing at and what's actually going to get these items sold? We need to make it more enticing. More enticing can be the better title structure, the better keywords. More enticing could be maybe dropping the price by 15 or 20%. And then when we do get a sale, we have an obligation and a duty to turn that money into another item that's going to sell faster than the item that we just sold. So we need to replace our items. Every single time we sell an item, it's our job to replace it with a better item. And if we replace it with a better item, our bank account is going to go up, because all of our money is not sitting behind us. If we replace it with a like item, we're going to be in the exact same situation. If we replace it with a worse item, we're going to go out of business. So every single time we sell an item, we have to replace it with a better item. And I don't know if you've watched the call that I did on YouTube titled Techonomics, where you sell an item, you put a portion back into reinvestment, you put a portion to pay your bills, you put a portion into your business savings, you put a portion into taxes. That's what we have to do. So like as resellers, every time we sell an item, let's say you sell an item, let's say you bought an item for $5, you sell it for $25 plus shipping, right? Do you know the best part about being a reseller is? When you buy it for $5, you get your $5 back every single time you make a sale. So you have to ask yourself, where's that original money? We should always have our original money back being reinvested into our business, so we don't have to take any money out of our pocket. If we're taking money out of our pocket, something's wrong. And usually what's wrong is people have a death pile not listed, or people have all of their money stuck behind them sitting in inventory. So we have to do what we have to do to get this money out of inventory, back into our pockets, and buy items better than the ones that we sold. We're on a constant search, a constant hunt to get better with our knowledge, get better with our research, go to another store, go out more often, talk to more people, shake more hands, where every single time we sell an item, it looks like you have great item back there. That's great, but it's not good enough. We have to replace them with better items that are going to sell faster for more profit. And it takes more boots on the ground, more talking to people, more stores, more effort on our listing, you know, pulling out all the tricks of promoted listings and markdowns and newsletters. We got to do it all. That's the name of the game right now. So check out the Techonomics podcast. You can search eBay or search YouTube, Tech and Sports Techonomics. I think that will be enlightening for you. Because every single time we sell an item, we get our money back. And we can go out there and replace it with a better item. And you know, the second best part about being a reseller is every single time we sell an item, the customer pays for everything. The customer pays for your poly bag, the customer pays for the label, the customer pays for your storage unit, the customer pays for your warehouse, the customer pays for your growth inside of your business. The customer has paid for everything. We just have to utilize the money smart. So, you know, keep our expenses down, stay small enough, long enough, do everything that we just talked about, but we need to get this stuff moving. We can't, a lot of resellers, we wait for eBay to give us the sale. We can't wait. We can't wait. We need to go in, we need to rework our listings, we need to send offers, maybe take an aggressive offer. Some of the money all the time is better than all the money some of the time. So when those offers come in, take the profit, roll it back in, reinvest into better items.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Florencia. Good work. Maybe we see her next week. She did a great job. Very good. Very good. All right. A couple of questions in the chat. Dance just saw the sneak attack. That's right. You better turn on notifications. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. Were you responsible for D-Wade's? I was not. Do you list your hats or do you have someone? I list the hats. How much do you pay to list a hat? No, I've always listed all of the hats. Can I use my own shipping on eBay? You can if you want to. Just make sure that you upload the tracking number. So very good, everybody. I appreciate all you guys. There was a lot of great questions. Good episode of Reseller Radio. I hope you guys enjoy this format. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat. On our way out, put some emojis into the chat. Hit the thumbs up, because the only way this video spreads is just like eBay. We need people interacting with the video, hitting the thumbs up. We need people typing in the chat. So spam a bunch of emojis. Share with your friends. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, because my metrics say 40% of the people that watch the videos ain't even subscribed. So subscribe, hit the notifications. We see everybody next week.